Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our ConnectALL Tech webinars. My name is Jonathan McGowan, and I'm a solutions architect with ConnectALL. And today we're going to walk through a case where we're going to talk about connecting the operations side of things with development. Now, this is a pretty common case that we've seen with many different applications out there. But what we're going to do is kind of just talk through about like a field team and a field team who submits incidents and submits problems through an application like Zendesk. Now it could be Zendesk, it could be any number of other ticketing managing systems out there, but today we'll use Zendesk for our example, and an example where a field team is out there, taking in incidents. They're on the road, or maybe like a level 1 support team. They're triaging incidents. They're taking in these incidents, and as they try to resolve them, they do their best. They do common workarounds, and they try to help their customers out and fix issues fix known problems with known solutions. But every now and then, they run into an issue that actually they need a little bit extra help on, I should say. And so they may escalate this to like a level 2 team. They may push it back to the back office support, for example. And those types of issues, they go up the ladder to again try additional things that may need maybe deeper problems that have more complex workarounds or complex solutions. But again, they do their best to try to resolve these issues, doing troubleshooting steps and whatnot. But then, they've escalated it up to that point, and it's deemed that there's an actual coding problem with this. Let's say that a piece of software is broken, maybe something is actually not behaving the way it was designed to work, and that an actual code change needs to be done, or the field team just says, I think this is actually broken, let's go ahead and get this over to the dev team. Now that typically results in it's typically a manual process. You've either got to have folks log into Zendesk to find these issues, to find these high priority issues, and then somehow get them over to the development tools. And now in today's example, we're going to be using Jira as our development tool. But again, it could be something like Azure DevOps or any of the other number of development tools that exist out on the market. But what we've got to do is take this really big problem ticket where we've tried our best to solve it with workarounds and without escalating it to development. And then we've got to take this issue and then get it over to our engineering teams, get it over to our development teams. And that typically requires somebody logging into each tool or having a meeting about it, saying, hey, here are tickets that actually we need you to look into now to see if you can solve them, or see if you know something extra about the product that we're not doing right, or see if it's an actual bug that needs to be fixed. But somehow we've got to communicate between the two teams that here's our issues that we need you to look at, and here's the status of those issues that we are working on, getting those statuses back to our support team so that they can communicate that out to their customers accordingly. So what I'm going to show you is how, using an application like ConnectALL, you can close that gap. We've got Zendesk and we've got Jira, and we want to close the gap between those two applications. And we're going to do that through the ConnectALL Value Stream Management platform. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into ConnectALL. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And what you can see now is you should be able to see my ConnectALL dashboard now. And now here's an example of what we call a value stream. And a value stream is really any process where value is the outcome. That could be something like today's example, where we're taking in incidents. Those incidents are escalated, and the value that the incidents are eventually resolved, and fixes are provided, and that's the value that you that you receive from that process. As we're bringing value to our customers by fixing the product, either through workarounds or through bug fixes. It could be other things as well. We could have value stream through requirements management, new features. We can see that up at the top of this diagram, where new features, new ideas are coming in, and then they go through a process as well, where they're actually implemented into the product. And that's part of a value stream too. The value that we receive there is new functionality for our customers or internally. Value stream is really could be very human. It's a very human process. It could even be the way that you brush your teeth in the morning. You know, the type of toothbrush that you use could be more efficient than the other. The way that you make your coffee, whether you like to use a coffee maker or whether you like to do French press type coffee. They're very different methods of doing it. One is a little bit faster than the other, but the folks that take the slower process they value the flavor of the coffee that they get from that French press. So really, any value stream is really any process, whether it's in real life or in development, where something of value is the result, right? So here we're going to dig down and into our value stream example here, and even though you can visualize your value stream, I'm going to drill down into this to the Zendesk and Jira example here. So now let's go ahead and we're going to jump over into Zendesk, and you can see that I've got our ticketing system over here, and I'm going to go ahead and just add a new incident. I'm going to go ahead and do this and make sure that we assign it appropriately here. Okay, we're going to make sure that this is an incident type, and we're going to go ahead and say something like the submit button on the order form did not work. Then we'll say, keep up with our coffee example earlier, I tried to order coffee. Right. And so let's go ahead and provide a little bit more detail here. We've got a text document we're going to provide that maybe has some additional steps to try. Let's go ahead and fill out a couple more fields, maybe like this is an urgent priority, and go ahead and submit this incident. Okay, so now I've got an incident over here in Zendesk. And you know, again, we would go through that process of our level 1 team trying to resolve this issue through workarounds or making sure that the customer is doing it right. And you know, they can't resolve it. It's been escalated. That team can't resolve it. And now finally, we deemed that this incident needs to go over to Jira. So let's come over to ConnectALL now. And what we're going to see now is ConnectALL is polling Zendesk. It's looking in Zendesk for changes every so often. I've got an integration set up there or a connection set up there. And what it's doing is it's saying, you know, hey, Zendesk, show me any new incidents that you have, or show me any incidents that have been updated. Okay, so it's going to look at either. And it's basically just polling, you know, looking for those changes, usually about once every minute. So what we'll see here in just a moment is ConnectALL will we'll see that new incident. There we go. We can see that that some activity just happened there. It found that incident in Zendesk and created something new over in Jira. So now we've already closed that gap. We've made that process more efficient by just moving this over here automatically. So now we can go ahead and see in Jira, if we look, take a look at this issue, we can see some of the details from that incident. Of course, I've got the title of that incident so that my development team working over here has an idea of what the problem is. There at the high level. I can see that my priority was set to the highest, so whoever submitted this thinks it's a very high priority issue. They want to order this coffee ASAP, and so they want to get that resolved. And then we can see as well the attachment and then that original comment that was made over here. So let's go ahead now and let's provide some feedback to this. Now, as a somebody on the development team. I'm looking into this. I'm doing my research, doing a spike around this perhaps, and saying, all right, well, let's go ahead and in my initial investigation here, I'm going to say, all right, I'll look at this. Okay, I'll look at this tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and add that, and then move this up to in progress, just to communicate back over there in Zendesk that somebody is looking at this issue in particular. So now, again, let's go back over to ConnectALL. And again, ConnectALL is set up and it's working in the background there. And what's going to happen now is it's polling Jira just like it was polling Zendesk. And it's saying, Jira, show me any updates that you have, or show me that to these incidents that have been synchronized. You can see there that it found that update. It found that there was a change to that RM113, and it synchronized it back to that Zendesk ticket. So let's go ahead and, yeah, we can see, sure enough, it's already updated this page. I can see the comment that was made over there. So I know that someone is going to work on this soon. And I can also see that my status down here, it was originally open, but now it's moved to pending. So I know that, so now as the submitter of this incident, I've got some insight into what's happening to it. It doesn't just get submitted into a black hole and then I have to wait 3 months for it to be to get an update on it. I can actually see right here in my ticketing tool of choice that progress is started on this incident over there in my development tools. So this is actually fairly straightforward to set up using ConnectALL. It doesn't require any plugins in any application. It is we just go in through the APIs of each one. If we drill down a little bit here, we can walk through and again, just kind of show you that it's fairly straightforward. All we do is we tell ConnectALL, we're going to talk to this Zendesk, we're going to talk to this Jira, we're going to tell it which issue types, which artifact types to look at. You can see that on the screen as well. We're pointing to a specific project here, saying that these tickets should go to this project. And then we can also set up the individual fields as well. And you can see that down here at the bottom. These fields are automatically retrieved from each application. No coding experience required. This is all very point and click. ConnectALL walks you through this process, and you essentially tell it, here's the objects I want to work with. Here's how I want these objects to flow between the applications. And then here's how I want the fields to transform between the two. I want my subject to become my summary. I want to synchronize comments. I want to synchronize attachments. And I want to synchronize status and priority values too. If you have custom fields, you can add that in there. It really is just all about choosing your, making your workflow more efficient and closing that gap here between the two applications and communicating the necessary details between the two teams. So that's the process here. And again, just a quick run through to talk about how we can help the operations teams and the development teams stay in contact, and how we can make the communication between those two applications more efficient, how we can help those two teams collaborate with each other in a more real-time manner. So with that, we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. We have a couple of questions. The first one here is somebody was asking if you could do the same thing with ServiceNow instead of Zendesk. Absolutely. That's a very common scenario for us. We do have a ServiceNow adapter, and that ServiceNow adapter can be configured to close the gap between those applications as well. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes for any other questions that may come in. Okay, we do have one question that says, how do you choose which project the incident should go to? Okay, so that's a great question there as well. And so ConnectALL allows you to implement filters and to direct the flow of these issues from one place to the other. And so we can actually have specific incidents or specific tickets in Zendesk flow to specific projects based off of certain criteria. Maybe urgent tickets can go to one project, and all the other tickets can go to a less urgent one. Or we can make it so that only urgent tickets flow, or only tickets that have been flagged flow. We can really, when we work with customers, we talk to them about their workflows, and then implement the integration in such a way that that matches their processes. So if only things belonging to a certain team need to go from one place to the other, we can do that too. And again, kind of put in these filters and apply those governance rules between the two applications. Okay, I will give it just another moment for any other questions that may come up. We've got one over here that says, can Jira synchronize back to Zendesk? I'm assuming you mean like creation-wise. Yes, that's right. We can do that as well. So I showed an example from Zendesk to Jira, but it could just as easily be the other way around. You could have tickets in Jira go back the other way, create the other direction. If you're using Jira Service Desk, that could work as well. Many folks use Jira Service Desk, or Jira Service Management, I should say now, as their ticketing tool, and they can have those issues flow outward to any other application as well. So Jira Service Manager, Jira Software, Jira Data Center, all those things we could either create from or create in. Okay, give it just another minute for any other questions that may come up. While we wait on that, I want to again thank you for your time today, and thank you for your interest and for joining us in today's webinar. Just to kind of give a brief idea of a problem that exists very commonly in the out there in oh my goodness, of something of a common issue that we see in connecting operations and development teams. Sorry about that. And how we can close that gap there between those different teams. Again, this is a great example of how value stream management. It's a very human, very real process, and we've got to move things across the value stream and cut out all that waste that we all love so much, and cut out the waste between the different applications, so that we can make our processes more improvement and do the work that we actually want to do, rather than all the menial tasks. So doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I appreciate your time today. Again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or want a closer look, feel free to reach out to sales@connectall.com, and we'd be happy to schedule a demonstration with you or talk to you about how ConnectALL can help you with your value stream management needs. With that, have a great day, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.